Hey everyone. So I thought it'd be cool today to kind of go through some of my old projects and look at all the games that never were. I've made a couple games and I've released a few games. Um, but I'll tell you what, the number of games I've made compared to the number of games I've finished, it's disproportionate. I've probably started 20 projects and I think I've brought about 5 to completion. And I'm proud of all these projects. A lot of them I spent a lot of time, made a lot of art, got really far, and for various reasons, I didn't always finish the whole thing. But I thought it'd be cool, let's look over some of them. Maybe there's some projects that I could visit again someday. Maybe it's just cool to archive them for the future because you never know how long I'll be able to, get these projects still working, these games. And there's still always something to learn from them. So, yeah. How about we take a little adventure to the past 5 years of my life or so since I've been making games, and we can look over some of the coolest projects, the highlights, and maybe we'll learn something. All right, so the first game we're going to be getting into here is Hex Rogue. I have a lot of feelings about this game. I remember a lot. I remember posting about it. I remember working on this for months and months. But I remember the reason I stopped working on it, and I actually can't see it here. I made this one of these enemies for this game where the code just got so convoluted that I was just getting frustrated every day working on the same bug, and I never could fix it, so I kind of give up. But this is a version before I even made that enemy, so anyway, enough jabbing. Let's show you what it looks like. So essentially, it's kind of a hand-drawn sprite game. It's like if there's a game called Hoplite. Maybe I'll throw it on the screen right here. You can see. It's kind of inspired by Hoplite. It's a hex crawler game. I named it Hex Rogue for a reason. It's supposed to be like a roguelike. Basically, you get these energy systems, so you can see when I do this, the green orb gets highlighted, the yellow orb gets highlighted, and that's because these moves actually use different energy orbs. So all you would do is, you'd run up here like that, and then you'd select your attack, and then bam. And then when you're all out of energy, you click on the end turn button, and you get some more energy. Um, there's also other abilities you can use, like there's like a fly ball, so it's like a range attack. Um, and something cool about this I remember is I actually also made an inventory system, so I can only do as many of that attack as I have inventory items here. Man, this is just such a trip. Oh, and look at that fun little animation I made. That's fun. I'll ignore that. Uh, so anyway, let's make our way over to this thing. I believe it's like a level up platform. So I'm just gonna hop over there and open that up. So yeah, this would be where you get your upgrades, gain a shield, and I don't know why, but I was just like, wouldn't it be just neat if it was all baseball themed? So yeah, I learned a lot from this project. It was pretty cool, but ultimately, that one bug really messed me up. Let's see if I can show off a fun animation. Uh, you can actually shove anything into the hole. Does that little spin? I love that. Let's die real quick. Oh no, I'm getting punched. Oh no. You can see my health at the top. Yep, I was punched to death by a goblin. But yeah, I mean, other than all the basic mechanics of this, I don't really know if there's much else to show. I think I had an idea where you could stockpile energy. This version of the game doesn't have that. I mean, we could tweak that live right now. How about we do that? Let's make it so that the energy doesn't decay like that. So I'm gonna go into the game. And I think that all you have to do is find where it's set. Aha, discard unstable orbs. Okay, let's check this out. We don't want to discard the unstable orbs every turn. I mean, honestly, we could probably just throw this away, and I think the game will work just fine. And now I think we can stockpile energy, kind of like I intended here. Yeah, I also had a working version. Maybe I could throw that on the screen now too. I had a working version where you could use your health as a resource too. I thought that'd be cool. It'd be like if you ran out of all energy, you could start using your health orbs as kind of like a universal energy. I think there's merit to that. I think that's a good idea. Um, anyway, get safe so we can stockpile some energy. Boom! Look at that. We got extra energy we can save up for days. Now I can actually execute 2 moves in a row. See, look at all, I'm stockpiling hella yellow. This is awesome. I got so much yellow. Then what do you do if you have too much yellow? You don't want to use it. I don't know. Let's get safe though. Gain a shield. Did I ever implement this? I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to just start whacking at nothing to get rid of some of these yellow orbs. Let's stockpile 2 green to see what that does. Safe. Um, looks like I never implemented it. Or maybe I did, and it was just in the final version that never got released. But either way, pretty neat game. You can see if I spend all these, then I can't keep using it because again, I don't have enough in my inventory to keep shooting them. Yeah. Oh, did I show what happens to go down? There's a neat little animation that plays too. There you go. Infinite game. For some reason, there's 2 level up planes now. I don't know what that's about. But yeah. Um, all in all, not really sure. I mean, I am sure. I'm sure why I stopped doing this. It just kind of got exhausting to add anything. I think my basic functions were not super well done, and they're kind of sloppily made. But overall, like the polish is pretty there. I think that might be another problem with this project is that I spent so much time making the art and polishing things that when it time to game time to code, it was just kind of tiresome. Would I continue to work on this again? Possibly. Um, just as like a final idea behind that, how about we go over to the player code and kind of see how crazy this is? If it's not crazy, I could consider it. At least just kind of give it like a. See, these are all just animation functions. Nothing crazy there. Go to the step code. Go and animate move. We pick up items. Uh, yeah, more animation. Doesn't really seem that crazy. How about we go to ability generator? Oh, these are all the. Oh, yeah, this is like the agility pool, or ability pool. That's pretty cool. Um, honestly, yeah, game doesn't look that crazy. Uh, maybe the most wild thing is just the animation system. I know there's bugs with the shove, try to shove people into other things. There can be problems there, but overall, would check out again. What do you guys think? Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next game. All right, we're hopping into the next game. As you can see in this tiny screen, ignore all these errors. Zoom out. It's Adventure Machine. This one is one of those games where I do often think about it, and it is basically, before I even show you, I had the idea for I want to make my own version of Super Auto Pets. Like that game to me is kind of a perfect game. And I said, what can I do to put a twist on that? And I thought, well, Super Auto Pets, but I think there's a lot of limitations by making it single player. The enemies have to be pretty fair. So the design has to be pretty reined in. If you look at that game, a lot of the design is like, give a little more stats, give a little more this, which is cool. But I thought, hey, what if it was crazy? What if the interactions were really deep and complex and there was way more on the screen? So without further ado, let's jump into what I actually got finished on this project. Start it up. Hopefully it works. I tried to go in and vet some of these beforehand. Oh, look at that little shimmer animation. Kind of fun. Okay, how does that look? Looks great to me. I don't think any of these other buttons do anything, but we'll go into new game. And bam, you can already see the auto pets kind of inspiration. Um, another big twist, just besides maybe like a complexity dive, because like this is supposed to be a big long single player game, is I almost made like a Monster Train-esque health system, and that'll make more sense later. I'll bring it up there. But let's look at some of these creatures. Ooh, okay. Friendly units double the buffs they provide. That's fun. Charity. I think I wanted this guy to be like Omega Rare, so it's not like a typical guy, but you can see it's all kind of a fantasy wrapper. A slime. Let's get one of those. Those are pretty classic. Um, damaging projectiles target this unit. I thought this one was really neat. So if the enemy is gonna shoot anything, the magnet will always bring it to this guy. And you can see, just like auto pets, like the item this guy carries is like a magnet item. So it kind of tells you that maybe other units can get this magnet kind of effect. Yeah, sure, why not? We'll grab this guy. We'll refresh the shop. I give myself a ton of money for debugging. And you can upgrade the guys. You see level 1, I could upgrade him. I don't think the effects will change in this version because it's kind of something I wanted to go for later. After combat, switch sides. I thought that was neat. You know, even in auto pets, this would be a cool one. Before combat, deal 3 damage to the enemy with the lowest HP. Let's just go in with this party and then we'll do another round. So boom, battle. We're inside the castle. Things are gonna go hella fast. You're not gonna be able to read it. It's just gonna zoom. But you see, after the combat ended, he switched sides. Oh man, that I hope you didn't blink because there was a lot to absorb there. Yeah, before we go in, so yeah, I don't know why this is. I was thinking, you know, you get the one team and you'll have to survive like 3 rounds with the one team, and then after that, you'll fight like a boss or something, and then you can restock. But let's just back out for now. Um, because I don't know if you noticed, but my slime died. He dropped 4 children. I'm gonna change that just to play around to show you kind of the complexity I was going for here. Um, Here, let's go objects, units. Look how well organized this little file system I got is. Slime big. Okay, so I think I'll be able to change how many slimes he can make. Yep, right here. So all I got to do, I think the basic version of this guy would probably only make 2. But we can play with it, and you can see how many exactly this system can handle. It's more than you expect. How many slimes do you think I can make? Okay, so let's just get 1 for now, and let's check it out. So now it should only make 2. Boom. And then you can see when I lose here, oh my god, what? This is your actual health bar. So my idea for this is, you know, see, now I have 2 health. So it's kind of like Monster Train if you played that game, where your health bar actually comes in to do the damage to the remaining stuff. I think this idea of the permadeath guys right here on the screen being gone, it's probably not good. I love you can sell your own heart. Protect them at all costs. Yeah. If you play Monster Train, you probably know what this mechanic kind of is. If you didn't, then that's fine. Um, I still kind of stand behind it. Okay, so while we're in here, let's just go crazy. What if we just multiply the slimes to an insane degree? Uh, Yo, what if? Yeah, let's do this many. I don't know, 10, something like that. So again, I kind of didn't like the super auto pets limitation where you can only get 6 pets. It totally makes sense for mobile. It totally makes sense for what they're making. But I said, you know what? If we're gonna stand out, let's stand out in a cool way. Let's make it so that your team can be enormous. And here's how it handles it. Boom! Isn't that sick? So yeah, I mean the animation speeds are slow. Oh, okay, so I finally know what that bad guy does. He penetrates behind. That's what the spear is about. That makes total sense. But yeah, you just keep doing waves. I don't think this team is gonna be able to survive it. But yeah, it's just another feature of this cool game. Why not? Let's see it all the way through. I think the game will crash if we actually try to survive this whole thing. If we lose, oh, game lose, and then nothing happens. Let's just for giggles, let's just go to the extreme. Let's double it. I think this is probably about the most you could do, but in my head, you know, some of my favorite games are those emergent gameplay games where like Balatro, for example. Like I made this game before Balatro, but like I love games where you can break it, right? And you can make a million of a thing and it doesn't get in your way. Maybe there's a soft cap, maybe 100, but something that you would never normally get. Look at that. Even the art kind of breaks down, but either way, the game lets you do it. So, yeah, cool feature for this game. Kind of a silly thing I would want to do. I think that what I had for these guys is you're able to recombine them in this phase. Look at that. Look at that. The UI kind of glitches out, but I thought that was kind of a fun, almost like hidden mechanic. You could recombine them into the one guy. Probably a little overpowered, but kind of fun. Look at that. Let's just see what happens if oh, it didn't like it. Okay, well, see. This is why we don't play with powers we don't understand. Let's pull this back where we found it. Uh, I think, yeah, I think 2 slime spawns is good for now. Let's check out some of the other features, shall we? Some of the other units. Yeah, so let's look over some other units real quick, or kind of go in a deeper dive. So something that I was really proud of and that is really indicative of like an Auto Pets plus plus or like, taking it farther. Look at this guy. He does every time he takes a damage, he deals 1 damage to any other random unit. So that means anyone on his team, enemy team, whatever. But he has this little flippy arrow in the corner. What is that? Well, he can also be a man at arms, 2 freaking swords. So I don't know exactly what this would be yet. Maybe it doubles his attack for the round, or maybe he attacks twice or something. But either way, something cool. And then let's see this guy. Oh yeah, let's actually show off this double buff kind of thing. Friendly units double the buff. Oh, I already bought this guy, so I need a second thing here. Um, let's find the other guy. Oh, here we go. So he should give all the shop units plus 1/1, but maybe he'll give all shop units plus 2/2 now. Bam, bam. Yep, plus 2, plus 2. And you can see he's throwing the potions too. He's helping. Let's combine these. Let's actually kind of get a squad going for the whole thing. Oh, look at this. This unit can't be moved. So a big strategy, right? You move things back and forth. Well, not this guy. He's rooted. So I thought that'd be cool. He's got insane base stats. You probably just want to buy him as is, and then you're probably going to end up selling him because being able to move things is pretty strong, it turns out. Because then you can rearrange your strategies in between rounds, especially because in this game, you do multiple rounds before you reset. But anyway, we'll keep him for now. He's pretty tanky. I like this guy too. Look at that. Deal 3 damage to the enemy with the lowest HP. That's always really strong. If there's any like casters or anything in the background, it's over. So we're throwing one of those on. Um, I really like the werewolf guy, but it backfires so hard. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna sell this and oh no, I'll sell this guy. We'll throw this guy at the front. He looks like he wants to get into something quick. The wizard is got to be strong. We'll shrink an enemy to 1/1. We'll grab a couple wizards. We're just spending all the money in the world here. Oh, I love a farmer too. You know what? Let's get rid of you. Let's throw a farmer in there. Every time he knocks something out, he gains 2 attacks. So he's kind of a scaler. We'll just keep upgrading our guys. That no change, unfortunately, from the level up, but normally, you'd see progression there. Just stronger, why not? Throw this on there. Ooh, no slime. Can we do it without a slime? Yeah, we can do it without a slime. Let's just get our soldier here at least to level 2, give him some stats. Yeah, I think we might be able to go all the way with this. Let's check it out. Let's go for a battle. Here they come. You can see he's gonna reflect whatever damage gets taken him. Boom. Oh, I have a man at arms right now. Right. Okay, let's change the style so we can show his ability off. Um, round 2. We're gonna have to make it 3 rounds like this. So if this guy gets hit, he should throw an axe. And look at that, it hit the team. There was nobody else to hit, so of course it threw to the team. Final round here. It should be the biggest round. Let's see. Oh, sniper, the axe go. Oh, it hits the enemy, but see, he's got a magnet, so of course it's gonna hit that guy. And that's kind of like part of the deeper interaction. Like, I love games that are just deep and have all these interactions that you can farm and make your own engine. And here we go. We're back to the shop. So that's the full kind of loop. I imagine you do a couple of those, then you do a boss fight. Maybe even the between rounds you can buy potions or whatever. But yeah, that's Adventure Machine. Pretty proud of this one. Definitely could see myself finishing it someday. The reason I kind of quit on it is it's pretty similar to a lot of the projects that I quit on. It just became kind of hard after spending so many days and weeks getting the foundation. I just kind of burned myself out on the idea. And I think from here, I didn't start another project. I just kind of took a break from programming. But I mean, look what we got here. It's a good foundation. Maybe we could take a peek into the code real quick just to kind of give a glimpse at the complexity of this thing. So I'm gonna go look at the combat manager here. This is, if I remember right, this is the one. Look at that. I have all these notes for myself. I was really trying to be good. Look at the layout and everything. I think I knew that I wasn't gonna be able to finish this in one run. So here's the player team data. Let's look at something like, yeah, init the team. This all kind of makes sense to me. You have to initialize the team, the enemy wave. So this is the kind of function that'll that'll trigger when it's time to actually fight. Let's check out the step function. I don't really know why I made it an end step. I'm sure there's a reason. It just means it executes at the very last after everything else. So yeah, we've got a state machine here, classic. I think if you've made games before, you certainly made a state machine. So we've got a waiting case, before actions in it, resolve actions. So then it selects a pair of units to fight each other, and it resolves all the health. And it always, I don't know. Yeah, there's some jankiness here, I think, when they both die at the same time, but I think I hand waved that. You check for the combat to end, otherwise you keep shuffling. And this is the kind of thing, like, where because I've made it such a generic case that I'm actually able to make that cool slime explosion like you saw earlier where there's 100 units because it just keeps going until it's done. If there's no front enemy, then we lose the game or it's a game tie. Um, or we win the game. Sorry, front enemy. Or from, yeah, so it checks, is there anything left to throw into the fire? Yes, no, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that kind of makes sense. Honestly, that's not too complicated. Let's look into a unit that I think is maybe hard to understand. Like, I think the soldier's got a lot going on, actually. Because he can hit anything, there's a lot of checks that need to happen. So, action trigger on damage. Like, look at that. What is this? Action trigger on damage. So, we've got an effect arrow that we make. So, basically, it creates that instance. And it's got its own code where it targets its own thing. And then, I mean, yeah. I remember what I had to do to make like this chain of actions work is I actually had to go in and make it so that when it creates a new entity, it will call that function, it'll pass a function as like a variable kind of thing, if that makes any sense. So like an arrow will be created and it'll have to go find, it'll hold on to the function that the parent has as its own function. It's complicated, honestly. But cool game, a lot of weird stuff, a lot of weird units. I think I focused on making weird units first because that was the most interesting. But yeah, that's Adventure Machine. And there we go. Calculator is open. Let's see if it runs. This is all kind of live. I haven't tested this yet. Oh my goodness. Here it is. Does it look familiar to you at all? This is a game maker game. Like, what's going on here? Um, does it do math? It does. Does seemingly do math. Why would I make something like this? What kind of psycho? I can explain. So first let me close out of this because I don't exactly remember. Oh, I think I remember. You know what, guys? I think I remember. Let me check this out. This is from, I think, 2022, 2023. I made this. I was working a job that I had a lot of free time, obviously. Um, and I wanted to make a game while I was working there because I'm weird like that. Oh my gosh, where the game window keeps disappearing. Dude, here we go. Why was that so hard? I wanted to make a game while I was working, and I wanted to be kind of sneaky about it. And I kind of wanted to play games while being sneaky because every once in a while my boss would walk in. So I was like, what if I just make a game that looks exactly like the Windows calculator? And I'll even pull up a real calculator app to compare. Oh, it doesn't really look like it at all. I mean, I think there might have been a different version of the calculator at one point that looked more like this. This is like the Windows 10 style calculator, and this is more like a Windows 11 calculator. But I swear, they were the spitting image of each other at one point. Um, so, but there's more than just a calculator on here. If you do the secret password, Oh, you get to play the other game, dude. And then there's like a whole game in here that you can play, and I never made it. I got to this part. I got to this part where you would enter the password, and then from there, you could play a whole game just on the calculator. Look like a calculator the whole time, but it maybe be a horizontal side-scrolling roguelike. I don't know. But just making this at all took forever, and I did it on a work computer, so yeah, that is that. But yeah, pretty interesting, huh? Maybe not. Let's move on to the next game. Hey, so this one, unfortunately, I couldn't find the game project. So sad. So I'm just gonna do it quickly, and go over kind of my thoughts on this one and what I was doing with it and all that. But this is the code name Pink, is the game, and guess what? It's another slot machine style game. I had this idea for kind of like a meta narrative kind of game where you are a character and it drops you into the slot machine every time, and then your character walks around and picks up these items kind of on their own accord, AI style, or maybe you control them, and a bunch of craziness happens. It has a lot to do with the occult and maybe drug abuse and weirdness. I don't really know. I had a lot of cool ideas. The art was really fun. I'll also show you some art that my sister contributed because all that so far was just stuff I was making. But also there's like wow, there's some really wild stuff in there. I mean, like this fun sofa, and then she helped me make a bunch of these paintings and decorations, and it was a really decked out. Oh my god, look at this guy. I wish I could zoom in more, but it was really cool. I think I'll find a way to use these assets at some point that she made. Really proud of her for that. In the description, maybe be a little shout out. But yeah, Pink was a cool idea. I think it was a more in my head idea because I was trying to make this at the same time that I was working at a mobile game company for a while. So I wasn't really trying to work on projects. I was more interested in making the assets, and I think that's ultimately why I quit making this game. I just busted out a ton of assets, a ton of basic stuff, and then when it came to programming a slot machine, I was just kind of burnt out. And after that, I moved on to other projects, and it kind of got left in the dust. And eventually, I lost the files for the game. So maybe someday I'll find the files and can crack it open. But for now, it's kind of lost media. And another game. This one is titled Casino Fighter. I am not sure. I think this one is in a worse state than most of them, to be honest with you. Um, oh, this is, yeah, I don't think that this one is really that ready. Oh, never mind. We opened the wrong version. This is what happens when you try to access the old projects here. Let me reconvene once I find the right one. Hey, well look at that. I found another version called Casino Fire, spelled wrong. You can't even see it, but it's spelled wrong. And yeah, here's the first glimpse. So, like I was saying, this one is less complete. I don't know whether to show you the crazy version or the chill version first. Let's try the chill version. I took a peek at this earlier. So, I think it'll speak for itself once I start it. So, here we go. Without further ado, bam, Casino Fighter. So essentially, I mean, it's all question mark blocks, but it would be kind of an auto battler again, where you take in your slot machine and you fill it up with junk, and it scores automatically, and then this guy fights back, and you fight each other. Boom! Look, he's hitting me, but I have a big shield, and you slowly chip away at him. It probably runs faster than this. Maybe you have to manually spin it when it starts, but you unlock that. I was also playing with the width of the machine. Maybe this will kick in after this spins. Yeah, like maybe you start with a basic machine, you add rows, you add columns, and you score things. There's different kind of slots that do different things. Maybe they individually do cool stuff. Here, let's pop over. I really want to see quickly if we can change the machine. Oh, slot collection. That sounds like what I need. I want to see each slot. Okay, let's make some room here. So these are actually the slots that you can use right now. Look at this. Players, look at how cool this one is. So right now I just have wild only, but this looks like a good list. So let's Let's take all this out. I can show you some of the slots that I actually did make because they're not all just mystery. Uh, what? Oh wow, what? That actually worked? Okay, weird. I think this will make this the last instance of it, and it'll actually fill up with other things that are not question marks. Oh man, it's on my other screen. Let me pull it over. Bam! Look at that. There's all kinds of weird stuff. There's glass. There's swords. There's axes. So it keeps rolling until it finds a hit. So that's why it's spinning so fast. So look at that. I got 4 shield that time. Let's see what we roll next. Let's decrease the width of the machine. I think that'll score off. There you go. So mysteries are free spaces. We got block that turn. We got an attack that turn. We got block that turn. I think the empty slots are those glass looking ones. Block that turn. This one has only 2 axes, so it's very unlikely that it'll hit. Let's wait for it to... Boom, it hit. See, 6 damage. Yeah, again, it's kind of like when you're watching Adventure Machine. It's a little hard to tell. I actually made this after Adventure Machine. And I think kind of like so many designers, I've been heavily inspired by Luck Be a Landlord. You know what that game is, but maybe I'll throw it on screen. Essentially, I just think the idea of, a slot machine that isn't just weird, it's actually like fun and goes towards a goal. It's just a cool idea. A lot of slot machine games out there now. I can't remember when I made this, like a couple years ago. But let me show you, what if I told you I didn't make a game where you just have one machine, but I was thinking a pure chaos incarnate thing. I was thinking, what if they were all independent machines and you could buy a million of them, and by the end of the game it would look like a cookie clicker insane like screen like this, and it would just go out of control. So I don't know, it's a cool idea. This is an interesting prototype. I think the execution is, it's not all there, you know. I think I spent too much time. I don't know. I actually can't really retrospectively say what I did wrong. But I think to make a game like this really awesome is you got to start from really small beginnings. I think that's where it's beautiful. So probably, you start with one machine that's a 3x3 grid. Oh my god, I kicked you. And then it goes to, you can spend money to upgrade that one machine, or you can get another, and maybe you cap out at like 5 machines. I was also hoping that every machine would be really different. Maybe this basic machine exists, but you can also get a machine that every time, like the progressive machines versus regular slot machines. I don't know if you know anything about slot machines, but you could get one that has like a spinning wheel, or maybe a game where you have to actually interact with it, like maybe a stronger machine, but the downside is you have to quickly go fix it or reset it or collect from it or something other than it just being automatic. And then, yeah, it would just be rounds. It would always be boss fights, I think. Always be auto battler type style. But yeah, that's it. That is Casino Fighter. I don't really know what else to say about it. Maybe we can just take a peek at the complexity once again. Um, I love this window. Why would it be like that? Okay, so cool. So it scores everything in a buffer, so it knows ahead of time, way ahead of time, what it scores, and then it slowly animates it. I sort of remember that. It's still years ago or a year ago. Yeah, look at that. And you can change what scores. So rows, columns, diagonals. Maybe different machines would score different ways. Maybe there's a machine that only scores horizontal. Maybe there's a machine that only scores if, certain conditions are met. But yeah, it's still a pretty deep project. I almost want to go to each of these projects and see how many lines of code, because it didn't look like a lot of game, especially compared to Adventure Machine. I mean, Adventure Machine looked like a lot of game, but maybe compared to just some of these other projects I'm showing. But it's got a lot of stuff. I built out a lot of things that didn't exactly go through. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that one. So yeah, that was a couple games that I made. I hope you liked what you saw. That's by all means not all of them. I have plenty of these little games that I was working on for quite a while. Over the last 5 years, I've learned so much. I've even made a foray into 3D now. So yeah, if you liked what you saw, maybe leave a comment saying you'd want to see a couple more games that I never finished. Or hey, maybe I'll even make a video on the games I did finish. But that's for the future. I hope you have a great day, and goodbye.